Hey there, future OTs.
Oh, and current OTs too. Welcome to the OTD study session, where we break down the toughest topics in occupational therapy coursework.
We dive in, take apart, and try to make those challenging concepts just a little easier to digest. Now, let's dive in.
Have you ever paused to consider how truly understanding the past can illuminate the path ahead? Especially, in a field as vital and ever-evolving as healthcare.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, to truly grasp where we're headed, we really need to take a deliberate step back and appreciate the incredible journey that got us here. It's not just history, right? It's kind of the very DNA of a profession.
That's a great way to put it, the DNA.
That's precisely our mission today on the Deep Dive. We're embarking on an in-depth exploration of current trends, occupational therapy's visions for the future.
It's a big topic.
It is. And our primary source for this deep dive is Chapter 1 of the incredibly insightful book, Applied Theories in Occupational Therapy, A Practical Approach. That's by M.B. Cole and R. Tufano, published by Routledge just this year, 2024.
A really valuable resource.
Definitely. And we're also leaning on a really clear and thoughtfully structured presentation created by Jack Corellis, OTR, EDD. It provides just a fantastic roadmap through all this rich material.
That's right. And this deep dive, it isn't merely a chronological recounting, like just listing dates. It's really a comprehensive roadmap designed to give you clarity.
Okay.
Our goal is to help you understand the evolving landscape of occupational therapy, making sure you grasp not just what the profession is doing now, but maybe more importantly, why it's moving in these particular directions.
A why behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about making those crucial connections between, historical context and contemporary practice.
And that, listener, is your mission today, to gain a comprehensive understanding of OT's historical evolution, its current trends, and its future visions. Think of this as maybe your essential shortcut to being incredibly well-informed about the profession's past, its vibrant present, and what looks like a really exciting future.
And we really want to foster those genuine aha moments for you.
Yeah.
By connecting the dots from those profound historical influences, sometimes going way back, to the nuances of contemporary practice, you'll gain immense clarity, I think, and perspective on the field's unique contributions.
Yeah.
You'll see precisely how OT makes a tangible, life-changing difference for people by facilitating their participation in what matters most to them. That's the core.
Okay, so to truly anchor our conversation and set the stage, let's start with the American Occupational Therapy Associations. That's AOTA's centennial vision. It just beautifully encapsulates the very heart and soul of the profession. It says, occupational therapy maximizes health, well-being, and quality of life for all people, populations, and communities by providing effective solutions to facilitate participation in everyday living.
Yeah, that vision. It was originally crafted to celebrate over 100 years of the profession's dedication and innovation, but it's truly a guiding star for us even today. It perfectly encapsulates that core purpose, promoting health through engagement in meaningful occupation.
Meaningful occupation, key words.
Absolutely. As we explore the intricate journey of OT, you'll witness how this central idea has been reaffirmed, sometimes challenged, and ultimately refined over more than a century. But it always brings us back to that fundamental power of active engagement in daily life.
Right.
It's about more than just, physical movement. It's really about purposeful living.
Historical evolution.
Okay, let's unpack this incredible journey then. Before we even delve into the specific historical movements, it feels absolutely crucial to understand the foundational pillars of occupational therapy first.
Agreed.
Foundational. These core principles, they're clearly outlined in our sources, and they seem to guide every single aspect of practice, even in today's complex healthcare landscape.
Absolutely. They're the bedrock. And the first, and perhaps the most defining, is client-centered practice.
Okay.
This involves a profound and unwavering focus on the unique needs, the goals, the context of each individual. It means truly emphasizing personal preferences, cultural values, lived experiences.
So give us an example. How does that look?
Well, for instance, in practice, an OT wouldn't just prescribe, say, a generic exercise program after a stroke. They would engage deeply with the client to understand what activities are most meaningful to them. Perhaps it's being able to hold their grandchild again, or maybe return to painting, or even prepare a specific family recipe they love.
So very personal goals.
Exactly. The interventions are then meticulously tailored around that specific, personally significant occupation. It makes therapy deeply personal, collaborative, and, frankly, much more relevant and effective.
That makes perfect sense. It's not just about what a person can do, maybe physically, but what they want to do and how that actually integrates into their whole life.
Precisely.
And speaking of integration, how does the environment factor into these core principles? Because people don't exist in a bubble.
No, they certainly don't. And that brings us right to the systems-oriented approach. This means understanding individuals not in isolation, but always within their rich environmental and social contexts. We recognize that a person's participation, their well-being, their ability to engage in occupations, it's all profoundly influenced by the interplay of various systems.
Like what kinds of systems?
Well, it can range from their immediate family and home environment, like do they have grab bars in the bathroom or accessible kitchen counters, all the way up to broader societal structures. Things like community resources, cultural norms, economic factors, even health policies.
Wow, that's broad.
It is. It's about seeing the whole ecosystem surrounding a person and recognizing that interventions often have to address multiple levels of that system to be truly effective. You might need to modify the home and connect them with community transport, for example.
And of course, in any health profession today, you absolutely have to demonstrate effectiveness. You need robust data, evidence. So evidence-based practice must be an absolute cornerstone, right? Guiding how OTs work.
Indeed it is. Absolutely crucial. Evidence-based practice, or EBP, involves the critical integration of three key components.
Three, okay.
Yes. First, the best available research evidence. Second, the clinician's own expertise and judgment built up over time. And third, crucially, the client's values and preferences, what matters to them.
So it's not just pure science.
Exactly. It isn't just about rigorously applying scientific findings from, say, an RCT. It's about informed, thoughtful decision-making that respects individual circumstances, cultural backgrounds, and personal goals. It's a dynamic blend, really, of science, the art of clinical reasoning, and a strong partnership with the client. It ensures interventions are both effective and personally relevant.
And finally, what brings all of these incredibly important dimensions together? It feels like it has to be this comprehensive perspective. It's truly holistic, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and that's our holistic perspective.
Yeah.
This means addressing not just the physical aspects of a client's condition or injury, but also their cognitive abilities, their emotional well-being, and the social aspects of their occupation. All of it.
So, an example.
Okay, so an intervention for someone recovering from, say, a hand injury wouldn't just focus on strengthening their grip. It would also consider how their pain impacts their mood, how they feel about potentially returning to work, or how they can participate in social activities they enjoy, maybe differently, despite their injury.
Right, because the hand injury affects everything.
Precisely. The intervention isn't siloed. It considers the whole person in their complex environment. It understands that all these interconnected dimensions contribute to their overall health, function, and well-being. And that, I think, is where OT truly shines in its comprehensive, holistic approach.
Now that we have those fundamental core principles firmly in mind, let's rewind a bit. Let's trace the intellectual and social movements that really laid the foundational groundwork for occupational therapy, maybe long before it was formally recognized as its own thing.
Yeah, the precursors. It's a fascinating look at the diverse influences that kind of converged.
It really is. Where do we start?
Well, we can begin in the late 19th and early 20th centuries with the arts and crafts movement.
Like William Morris.
Exactly that kind of thinking. This movement emerged partly as a reaction against the dehumanizing effects of industrialization, which often relegated workers to repetitive, meaningless tasks. It emphasized the profound therapeutic value of creative activities and meaningful handcrafted work.
So how was it therapeutic?
For individuals in asylums, or maybe convalescing from illness, engaging in crafts like weaving, pottery, or woodworking, it was seen as a powerful way to restore dignity, purpose, and self-worth. It was a direct, active contrast to the enforced idleness often seen then. It provided purposeful engagement and a sense of accomplishment. The idea was that purposeful activity could heal both body and mind.
Okay, that makes sense. What else was bubbling up?
Closely related, and actually with roots stretching much further back to the 18th and 19th centuries, was the humanistic philosophy and moral treatment movement.
Moral treatment, right. That sounds important.
It was huge. Visionaries like Philippe Pinel in France and William Tuke in England championed humane treatment and active engagement in daily activities for individuals with mental illness. This was a radical departure from the brutal practices of the time, patients often shackled, confined.
Horrific conditions back then.
Truly. Pinel and Tuke advocated for environments that encouraged kindness, respect, and purposeful engagement in occupations like farming, housework, maybe crafts. This fundamentally shifted perceptions of mental illness care. It viewed individuals as capable of improvement through active participation in life, rather than just needing to be contained.
So it really sounds like a profound push to treat people with dignity and respect, engaging them as active participants rather than just passive recipients of care or work.
Exactly. Dignity and purpose.
How did that evolve into focusing on perhaps preventing illness in the first place? Was there a shift towards that?
Yes, that crucial step brings us to the mental hygiene movement, which gained prominence in the early 20th century. Led by influential figures like Adolf Meyer, a psychiatrist who profoundly shaped early OT, thought this movement focused on preventing mental illness through healthy living and proactive engagement in occupation.
Adolf Meyer, his name comes up a lot in early OT.
He's foundational. Meyer stressed the paramount importance of a balanced daily rhythm, a healthy interplay between work, play, rest, and sleep.
The work-play rest-sleep balance. Still relevant today.
Absolutely central to occupational therapy's approach to holistic well-being even today. It highlights that purposeful engagement in daily routines is vital for maintaining not just physical health, but profoundly mental health too.
Okay, what other philosophical streams fed into this?
Then we have pragmatism. This was a distinctly American philosophical movement, emphasizing practical application, problem-solving, and learning through doing.
Like John Dewey in education.
Exactly that vein. This philosophy heavily informed early OT's hands-on experiential approach to rehabilitation. It's about finding practical solutions that work in the real world, experimenting, adapting interventions based on observable outcomes, and valuing the tangible experience of doing over purely abstract theory. It really laid the groundwork for the idea that engaging in an activity is often the most effective way to learn or relearn a skill.
Learning by doing. Makes sense.
And finally, we can't ignore the immense societal needs arising from functional and vocational re-education, particularly after major conflicts like World War I.
Right, the impact of the war.
Critical. The war brought home countless injured veterans, many with severe physical and psychological wounds. There was a powerful societal imperative to restore them to productive roles. This led to a focused emphasis on rehabilitation through work and purposeful activities, helping individuals regain physical function, learn new vocational skills, and rediscover a sense of purpose so they could successfully re-enter society and contribute economically.
So it's about getting people back to work, back into life.
Precisely. This directly set the stage for a profession specifically dedicated to restoring meaningful participation in daily life, moving beyond purely medical interventions to encompass the whole person and their role in the world.
Okay, so these historical currents, arts and crafts, moral treatment, mental hygiene, pragmatism, vocational rehab, they clearly coalesced into something groundbreaking and new. And it's fascinating to see how these diverse threads were expertly woven together by a group of extraordinary individuals who formally established occupational therapy as a recognized profession. Let's introduce these pioneering figures, the visionaries, as our source calls them.
Indeed, it's quite a remarkable group. First, George Barton, 1871 to 1923. He was actually a skilled architect.
An architect. Interesting.
Yes. And after personal disability experiences, he had tuberculosis and paralysis. He founded Consolation House in Clifton Springs, New York. This innovative institution wasn't just a place for recovery. It became a pivotal site for early OT practice and research. It focused intensely on the therapeutic value of meaningful activity for convalescing patients. Barton himself was living proof, really, of the power of occupation in recovery.
Wow. Okay, who else?
Then there's William Rush Dunton, 1868 and 1966. He's often revered as the father of occupational therapy.
The father. Okay, why him specifically?
Well, with his background as a prominent psychiatrist, particularly at Shepherd and Enoch Pratt Hospital, he tirelessly promoted occupation as a healing modality. He did this through extensive writings, lectures, and teaching. He actually articulated 9 fundamental principles of occupational therapy, emphasizing things like purposeful activity, progression, the importance of engaging the patient's interest. He laid much of the intellectual foundation for the emerging profession.
Got it. A key theorist.
Definitely. Then Eleanor Clark Slagle, 1871-1942. She was a highly influential social worker who developed something called habit training.
Habit training. Tell me more about that.
It was a groundbreaking, really systematic approach to establishing healthy routines, particularly for individuals in mental hospitals. It involved structured daily schedules of activities. Imagine a detailed timetable covering personal care, productive tasks, recreation, all designed to help individuals reestablish normal habits and enhance their mental and physical well-being. Her work brought structure and purpose where often there was chaos or idleness.
Structuralist therapy. Powerful.
Very. Next, Susan Tracy, 1878-1928. She was a pioneering nurse who deeply integrated occupational therapy principles into nursing practice. Her seminal book, Studies in Invalid Occupations, published way back in 1910, provided practical guidance for nurses on how to engage patients in therapeutic activities. She significantly expanded the reach of these ideas within conventional healthcare settings, a true advocate for hands-on therapeutic engagement.
So bringing it right into the hospitals.
Exactly. And Thomas Kidner, 1866-1932. He was an expert in vocational education, originally from Canada, and he contributed significantly to the practical application of OT. He focused on the design of hospitals to integrate occupational workshops and vocational training facilities. He understood the immense importance of not just healing, but also preparing individuals for productive work roles after injury or illness. His architectural background likely helped him visualize how to build these spaces effectively.
Design meets function. Very practical.
Very. Susan Johnson, 1876-1932, played a crucial role as an arts and crafts instructor. She brought her expertise in therapeutic crafts right to the forefront, teaching some of the earliest occupational therapy courses. She really embedded the practical therapeutic value of creative work into the nascent profession's curriculum and early practice models.
The hands-on aspect again.
Critical. And we must absolutely mention Herbert Hall, 1870-1923. He was a physician who famously promoted the work cure.
The work cure. I like that.
As opposed to the then prevalent rest cure for conditions like neurasthenia, which was characterized by chronic fatigue and weakness. Hall's approach, often involving engaging patients in crafts like weaving or pottery, demonstrated the restorative power of purposeful work. It directly challenged the prevailing notion that complete rest was always the best medicine.
Fascinating. So a real mix of backgrounds.
An incredible mix. These remarkable individuals hailing from architecture, psychiatry, social work, nursing, vocational education, arts and crafts, they collectively recognized a shared vision. They came together and established the National Society for the Promotion of Occupational Therapy, or NSPOT, in 1917.
NSPOT 1917, the official start.
That pivotal moment, which eventually led to the formation of the American Occupational Therapy Association, AOTA, we know today, marked the official beginning of the profession, a true fusion of humanity, science, and practical application.
It's clear that OT has these deep, multidisciplinary roots. But, no profession ever stays static. This next section, it feels like it's all about understanding the big swings in OT's identity, the major paradigm shifts that have shaped its course. Sometimes dramatically changing how OTs viewed their role, right?
That's exactly right. The profession has experienced distinct eras, each with its own core assumptions, its own sort of worldview. From the 1900s to the 1940s, we saw the paradigm of occupation.
The original paradigm.
Exactly. This was the initial foundational focus where occupation itself was considered the central therapeutic tool. The inherent therapeutic power of meaningful activity, whether it was weaving, gardening, caring for animals, following Slagle's habit training routines, was believed to directly address a client's mental or physical needs.
So the activity was the medicine, in a way.
You could say that. It wasn't just a means to an end. It was the essence of the intervention. The goal was restoring a sense of purpose and structure through active engagement.
And then there was a pretty significant shift, wasn't there? I remember reading about moving into a much more medicalized, maybe less holistic approach. Sounds like that could have created some tension.
Oh, precisely. From the 1950s to the 1970s, OT underwent a profound mechanistic paradigm shift.
Mechanistic. Like a machine.
Kind of. It was a scientific reductionist approach, largely driven by the prevailing medical model that sought to understand and treat the body like a machine. The focus shifted away from occupation itself and more towards addressing underlying deficits in body functions, like range of motion, muscle strength, or sensory processing, often in isolation.
So less focus on the whole activity.
Much less. For example, instead of focusing on the complex occupation of cooking a meal, an OT working under this paradigm might focus primarily on isolated range of motion exercises for the arm. The belief was, if you fix the parts, the person could then automatically perform the whole occupation.
I can see the limitations there.
Right. While it definitely brought valuable scientific rigor and maybe a clearer alignment with medical institutions, it often overshadowed the holistic, occupation-centered roots. It created a sense of professional drift for some.
So how did OT respond to that drift?
Well, recognizing the limitations of this reductionist view and the identity questions it raised, from the 1980s to the present, we've seen the powerful return to occupation-centered practice. It emphasizes a holistic view that, once again, fully integrates the person, their environment, and their meaningful occupations. It acknowledges the immense complexity of human life and experience. It recognizes that true health and well-being come from meaningful engagement in daily living, not just the absence of disease or the isolated repair of body parts. It's like reintegrating the soul of OT with the scientific advancements.
That makes sense. But these shifts probably weren't smooth sailing. Did the sources mention points of crisis or major challenges during these transitions?
They absolutely did. These paradigm shifts weren't always easy transitions. In fact, our sources highlight two significant crisis points where the profession had to pause and reflect deeply on its identity and direction.
Okay, when were those?
The first was in the late 1940s to 1950s. There was immense pressure post-WWII for scientific evidence to legitimize OT within the burgeoning medical model.
The push for science.
Exactly. And this push, while inherently valuable for professional credibility, inadvertently steered OT towards that more medical reductionist approach we just discussed. Many practitioners apparently worried they were losing their unique voice, becoming maybe too similar to physical therapy or vocational training.
Okay, and the second crisis point?
That occurred in the 1970s. With an increasing specialization across healthcare and a rapid proliferation of new theoretical frameworks within OT itself, there was a pressing need for a broader and clearer definition of OT's unique domain.
So too many theories, not enough core identity.
That was the feeling. This period was marked by a distinct identity crisis, where OTs wrestled with questions like, what is our core contribution and how are we truly different? This self-reflection, though, was a catalyst. It forced the profession to vigorously reaffirm its unique value and define what truly set it apart. The centrality of occupation itself. These moments of introspection, these crises, were absolutely crucial for the profession's continued evolution and strengthening its core.
What's truly fascinating here is seeing how these broad paradigm shifts, these big swings in professional identity, actually manifested decade by decade. Let's really dig into the evolution through time now, blending the structure of the presentation with those rich textual details from the chapter. Let's see how practical applications emerge from these philosophical underpinnings.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with the 1920s. Habit training and reconstruction. The historical context here is just crucial. We were deep in the post-WWI reconstruction era.
Right, dealing with the war's aftermath.
Exactly. There was a strong societal focus on returning veterans, often with severe injuries, both physical and mental, to productive roles. The imperative was to restore men to meaningful occupations, not just to heal them medically, but to prevent what they called invalidism and integrate them back into society. Plus, the ongoing Industrial Revolution continued to reshape work and health, creating new challenges like industrial accidents and a need for innovative rehabilitation.
So what were the key OT developments then?
Foundational ones. We saw the refinement of Eleanor Clark Slagle's habit training. As we mentioned, this was a systematic, almost ritualistic approach to establishing healthy routines, especially in mental health settings. It involved meticulously structured daily schedules, waking time, productive tasks, recreation, hygiene, all designed to reestablish normal habits and enhance well-being.
Really hands-on and structured.
Very. The broader Reconstruction movement focused heavily on rehabilitation through occupational engagement, helping individuals regain function and purpose, often in purpose-built workshops or community settings. This directly addressed the needs of war veterans, and concurrently, we saw the early emergence of a biomechanical approach. This focused on understanding physical function and work capacity. Therapists would analyze specific movements required for tasks to improve performance, for example, dissecting the precise arm movements needed to operate a loom or a woodworking tool to optimize a client's ability.
It sounds like a period of intense practical innovation driven by these really urgent societal needs.
It really was.
Moving into the 30s and 40s, we see the theoretical foundations expanding even further. And some pretty big external influences too, right? Like the Great Depression and then another World War.
Exactly, a tumultuous period. We move into the 1930s to 1940s, expanding theoretical foundations. In the 1930s, the profound economic impact of the Great Depression significantly altered healthcare needs. It created a demand for cost-effective, practical interventions. This decade also saw the powerful rise of behaviorism.
Skinner, Pavlov.
Those figures, yes. Watson, Skinner, Pavlov influenced a growing scientific focus on measurable outcomes in therapy. Therapists began to analyze how behaviors were learned and could be modified to improve occupational performance. Interestingly, there were also early psychoanalytic influences from Freud and Jung, which explored the symbolic meaning of occupations and their role in mental health, delving into how unconscious drives might impact engagement in daily life.
So different schools of thought influencing OT.
Definitely. And there was a clear drive across the profession to document the effectiveness of interventions more rigorously, moving towards a more scientific basis for practice. For instance, therapists might analyze how engaging in a specific craft could address underlying psychological needs or provide a measurable improvement in fine motor skills, trying to tie in both behavioral and maybe psychoanalytic ideas.
And the 40s. Dominated by WWII, I assume.
Profoundly shaped by World War II? Yes. It dramatically intensified rehabilitation needs on an unprecedented scale. This led to the rapid development of activity analysis, that meticulous process of breaking down a task into its component parts and requirements. It became an absolute cornerstone of OT practice.
Still is today, right?
Yeah, absolutely fundamental. There was also, understandably, a strong emphasis on vocational rehabilitation, helping returning service members re-enter the workforce. And we saw the emergence of more formal rehabilitation models, like the kinetic model by Marian Licht and Jean Ayres, which emphasize understanding human movement and occupational tasks, providing a more scientific underpinning for OTs working on physical performance. The demand was immense, and the profession really had to innovate quickly.
Then we transition into an era of significant professional growth and social reform in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Sounds like a period of both consolidation and maybe looking outwards more.
Yes, exactly. The 1950s, 1960s, professional growth and social reform. The 1950s saw several new frameworks emerge, signifying a maturing profession. Notably, the World Federation of Occupational Therapists, WFOT, was founded in 1952.
Going global.
Right, marking a global expansion and push towards international standardization. We also saw the development of theories like object relations theory, offering a psychological lens to understand how early relationships shape a person's ability to engage in meaningful occupations and connect with others. Gail Fidler's therapeutic use of self was a pivotal idea.
Therapeutic use of self. What's that exactly?
It emphasizes that the therapist isn't just a technician applying techniques. Their personality, their empathy, their ability to build rapport are powerful therapeutic tools in themselves. It's about the relationship.
Got it. Makes sense.
We also saw sensorimotor approaches like those pioneered by Margaret Rood, providing new ways to use sensory input to facilitate motor responses, which was particularly crucial for individuals with neurological conditions. And various psychoanalytic frames also continued to evolve, reflecting a period of increasing theoretical specialization within OT.
And the 60s.
Yeah.
You mentioned social reform.
The 1960s was a truly powerful social reform era, and OT became deeply entwined with broader societal changes. This decade brought significant legislative milestones like the establishment of Medicare and Medicaid in the U.S., which expanded healthcare access dramatically. Critically, OT began entering school systems in a much bigger way.
Oh, interesting. Why then?
There was a growing awareness of developmental needs and the importance of supporting children with disabilities right in their educational environment. We also saw the influence of group dynamics theory, leading to more group-based interventions. Neurodevelopmental treatment, NDT, by Carol and Berta Bobath became prominent, focusing on facilitating normal movement patterns in children with cerebral palsy. Task-oriented approaches by Gail Fidler emphasized the therapeutic value of engaging in goal-directed tasks. And Ann Mosey's concept of multiple frames of reference encouraged OTs to draw from various theories, reflecting a growing awareness of social justice and community health needs. The profession was truly expanding its reach and its conceptual toolkit.
Wow, a lot happening in those 2 decades. Now, after all that growth and this proliferation of new frameworks, it sounds like the 70s brought about some internal struggles. You mentioned an identity crisis earlier. How did that actually play out?
That's right, the 1970s. Identity crisis and proliferation of frames. Key developments included OT becoming even more widely integrated into school systems nationwide, really solidifying its role in pediatric care. In 1979, the first uniform terminology was published.
Why was that important?
It was a crucial step towards standardizing language and practice across the profession, and it was much needed because of that rapid proliferation of multiple theoretical frameworks we talked about. This very proliferation, while intellectually rich, contributed significantly to that identity crisis because there wasn't a single unifying theory everyone agreed on. Different OTs were practicing from sometimes very different conceptual bases, and it made it hard to articulate a cohesive professional identity to the outside world and even internally.
So give me an idea of that diversity. What kinds of frameworks were emerging then?
Oh, quite a range. Major frames of reference from this era include sensory integration by A.G. Nares. Her work helps us understand how the brain processes sensory information and how challenges here can impact daily function, especially in children. Then there were cognitive behavioral approaches, adapted by figures like L.J. King, focusing on how thoughts and behaviors influence occupational performance and how to modify them. Ego-adaptive models by Lorenz explored how a person's sense of self and adaptive capacities shape their engagement with the world. Mary Riley's play model highlighted the critical role of play in development and therapy across the lifespan. And Kielhoffner's temporal adaptation looked at how individuals structure their time and how disruptions to routines and temporal patterns impact well-being. Each offered a powerful but distinct lens. You can see how it might feel fragmented.
Yeah, definitely diverse. So after that period of diverse theories and the sense of an identity crisis, the 80s seemed to bring a much-needed push towards more standardization and, crucially, a deeper understanding of how OTs actually think.
Precisely. The 1980s. Standardization and clinical reasoning. Major developments included the significant impact of the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, OBRA, in the U.S. This brought increased documentation requirements for healthcare services.
More paperwork.
Essentially, yes. But it also pushed OT to be more accountable and articulate its value in measurable terms. This era also saw the emergence of the Model of Human Occupation, MOHO, by Gary Kielhoffner and Janice Burke. This was monumental.
MOO. That's a big one.
Huge. It represented a significant return to occupation-centered practice. MOHO provided a holistic, systems-based framework for understanding how volition, motivation, habituation, roles and routines, and performance capacity influence engagement and occupation. It became and remains one of the most widely used and researched models in OT. Furthermore, occupational science emerged as a distinct academic discipline.
What's that? Different from OT.
It's the study of occupation itself, its form, function, and meaning. It provides a robust theoretical grounding for the profession of occupational therapy. It's the science that informs the practice.
Okay. And you mentioned clinical reasoning.
Yes. This period really refined our understanding of clinical reasoning. It's often referred to as the three-track mind, based on work by Fleming and Mattingly. It involves three interconnected processes OTs use constantly in practice.
Okay, what are the three tracks?
First, procedural reasoning. This is the scientific diagnostic part. Identifying problems, planning interventions based on knowledge of conditions and frames of reference, like the how-to of therapy. Second, interactive reasoning. This focuses profoundly on understanding the client as a person, fostering collaboration, building that therapeutic relationship, empathizing with their lived experience, the human connection.
Right.
And third, conditional reasoning. This involves considering the client's broader context, envisioning future possibilities, adapting interventions as conditions change, thinking about the what-ifs, and the whole life trajectory within their environment. It's the forward-thinking, adapting part.
Procedural, interactive, conditional. A sophisticated blend.
Exactly. Science, art, and forward-thinking problem-solving, all woven together.
That sounds like a much more integrated and nuanced way of thinking for practitioners, truly embodying that holistic approach we talked about earlier. And then the 90s really solidifies this return to occupation as the core, doesn't it? Feels like the models just exploded then.
Absolutely. The 1990s, occupation-based models proliferate. This decade marked a significant and very explicit shift back to occupation as the undeniable core of practice, really building on the groundwork laid by MAHO in the 80s. We saw an explosion of new occupation-based models that emphasize the intricate interplay of the person, their environment, and their occupation. Each offered a slightly different lens, but all centered on occupation.
Okay, can you name a few key ones?
Sure. Key models developed during this time include the Purser Environment Occupational Performance, PEOP model by Christensen and Baum in 91. This emphasizes how personal factors, environmental supports or barriers, and the demands of an occupation all interact to influence performance. Then there's the Occupational Adaptation Model, OA, by Schade and Schultz in 92, which focuses specifically on a person's ability to adapt to challenges in their occupational life. The Ecology of Human Performance, EHP model by Dunn, Brown, and McGuigan in 94 offers a really dynamic view of how individuals, their contexts, and tasks constantly influence each other.
Very systems-oriented sounding.
Very much so. And the Canadian Model of Occupational Performance, CMOP, introduced around 97, was revolutionary in its profoundly client-centered approach. It truly put the client's own spiritual, cultural, and personal experience of occupation at the very heart of therapy, with the therapist as facilitator. These models fundamentally shaped how OTs assessed, intervened, and viewed their clients' lives, bringing occupation front and center again.
Okay, as we roll into the new millennium, the 2000s, what were the big forces at play? You mentioned globalization and understanding complex environments earlier. The world was certainly becoming much more interconnected.
Precisely. From 2000 to 2009, globalization, context, and environments, we saw several key developments that continue to influence us significantly today. The Occupational Therapy Practice Framework, OTPF, was formalized by AOTA in the U.S.
The OTPF, what did that do?
It provided standardized language and a consistent process for OT practice across all settings and populations in the U.S. This was really critical for professional unity and communication, especially after that 70s identity crisis. Around the same time, the International Classification of Functioning, Disability, and Health, ICF, adopted by the World Health Organization, became a crucial global framework.
How did the ICF influence OT?
It's a biopsychosocial model, meaning it looks beyond just the medical diagnosis to consider body functions, activities, participation, and environmental factors. It heavily influenced OT's understanding of health and disability globally, emphasizing participation rather than just impairment. There was also an increasing emphasis on global perspectives and international collaboration within the profession, sharing knowledge, best practices across borders, and a greater focus on systems approaches emerged for tackling complex, multi-level interventions that addressed broader determinants of health, moving beyond just individual care.
So really broadening the scope.
Definitely. And this period truly ushered in a significant paradigm shift where the WHO's definition of health expanded profoundly beyond simply more than just absence of disease. OT's focus broadened even further to explicitly emphasize participation, quality of life, and overall well-being as central to health outcomes. It really affirmed OT's long-standing belief that true health is about living a full, meaningful life.
And finally, bringing us closer to the present day, what defined the most recent decade, the 2010s up to 2020? It seems like a period of intense advocacy and expansion into new areas.
Indeed, the 2010-2020 social participation and professional advocacy. This decade saw a heightened emphasis on professional advocacy at all levels, from local communities right up to national policymaking. The goal was really to expand public awareness of OT's unique value, forge crucial interdisciplinary partnerships with other healthcare professionals, and advance the profession's roles both inside and outside of traditional medical settings. OTs were actively working to shape policy.
So getting a seat at the table.
Exactly. Key focus areas expanded significantly to include social participation, recognizing the profound impact of social connection on well-being. There's a strong push for community-based practice, moving services out of institutions. Preventive care strategies focused on wellness and health promotion before illness strikes became more prominent. And mental health promotion across the lifespan gained traction. This truly reflected a strategic move towards population health.
And where were OTs working? Any new places?
We saw a rapid rise in emerging settings, things like primary care integration, where OTs work directly with general practitioners, population health initiatives targeting specific community-wide needs, like fall prevention programs, the explosion of telehealth services, dramatically increasing access to care, especially during the latter part of the decade, and technology integration, leveraging digital tools for intervention and support. This decade really showcased the profession's remarkable adaptability and forward-thinking nature, ready to meet evolving societal needs head-on.
Current trends and future visions.
Okay, this extensive historical journey truly sets the stage for where OT is today and where it's powerfully headed. To get a real pulse on the profession's intellectual evolution, our sources highlight major themes consistently drawn from the prestigious Slagle Lectures given between 1986 and 2017.
Ah, yes, the Slagle Lectures.
These lectures, they're often a crucial bellwether, right, for the field's most pressing concerns and future directions. This is where it gets really interesting, looking at what the thought leaders were focused on.
Absolutely. The Slagle Lectures, delivered annually by distinguished OTs, offer fantastic insight into the evolving professional dialogue and the big ideas shaping our field. The first major theme identified in the review is complexity and holism.
Okay, complexity and holism, what does that mean in practice?
It involves moving beyond simplistic cause and effect thinking. It's about embracing the inherent complexity and transactionalism in understanding human occupation. Speakers like Florence Clark and Ruth Zemke, for instance, explored how occupation is intricately shaped by time and space, how people interact dynamically with their environments, and how systems thinking is essential to capture the multifaceted nature of human engagement. It's about seeing the interconnected web, not just isolated parts or simple fixes.
Got it. What's the second theme?
Second, social connections repeatedly emerged as a vital theme. This emphasizes recognizing the profound importance of social contexts in occupational performance. Lectures often centered on how community, family support, cultural influences, societal roles, how all these deeply impact an individual's ability to participate in meaningful occupations. It's not just about the individual's abilities, but their entire social fabric and how they're integrated into it. An OT really can't ignore the social world.
Right. Context is key again. What's next?
Third, the therapeutic relationship was consistently highlighted, reaffirming its foundational importance. Remember Gail Fidler's therapeutic use of self?
Yes, from the 50s, 60s. Still relevant.
Absolutely. This emphasizes the deeply collaborative nature of OT practice and acknowledges the critical role of the interpersonal connection, the empathy, the trust between the client and the therapist. It's about building a genuine partnership, shared understanding, and mutual respect to achieve common, meaningful goals. The relationship itself is therapeutic.
Okay. Theme 4.
Fourth, professional continuity. This underscores the ongoing importance of connecting the past, present, and future to establish and maintain a strong professional identity. It's about building purposefully on previous knowledge, honoring the profession's rich roots, learning from past challenges like those identity crises, all while continuously innovating and adapting to new opportunities. It's about carrying forward the legacy while forging new paths responsibly.
Building on the shoulders of giants, so to speak.
Precisely. Fifth, evidence-based practice remains a consistent and absolutely crucial theme. Slagle lecturers like Helen S. Cohen and Catherine Trombley have repeatedly emphasized the ongoing urgent need for building and rigorously evaluating robust evidence to support interventions. This ensures that OT practices are effective, achieve measurable outcomes, and can demonstrate their value in a data-driven healthcare environment. This is vital for professional credibility and advancing the actual science of occupation.
Always circling back to proving effectiveness.
It has to. And finally, sixth, professional advocacy has become increasingly vital, particularly in recent decades, as we saw in the 2010s overview. This theme focuses on promoting OT's unique place in healthcare and society, proactively shaping policy, and raising public awareness of the profession's distinct value and contributions. It's about ensuring that OT has a strong, articulate voice in the broader healthcare landscape, influencing decisions that impact clients and practitioners alike.
So drawing on those powerful Slagle lecture themes, what are the overarching core ideas shaping 21st century OT practice right now? What does it truly look like through this modern lens, bringing all those historical threads and lecture themes into focus today?
These core themes reflect an increasingly sophisticated and nuanced understanding of human occupation and its central role in health. First, there's a deep appreciation for time and space as integral to occupation.
Time and space, how so?
We understand occupation as unified in active participation across both temporal, time, and spatial space dimensions. It recognizes that occupation isn't just an activity. It's an experience profoundly shaped by when and where it occurs. How time is structured or perceived, the physical environment, the social context, all impacting meaning, performance, and well-being. Think about it. A routine morning task feels very different in a bustling family home versus a quiet institutional setting, or when you're feeling rushed versus when you can savor it.
Ah, I see. The experience changes. Okay, what's another core theme?
Second, in terms of human development, we're clearly moving from purely egocentric perspectives, which focus mainly on the individual's internal processes, towards emphasizing profound community and environmental connections.
So looking outward more.
Yes, exactly. This acknowledges that individuals develop and function within complex social and ecological systems.
Okay.
It recognizes the immense influence of family structures, community resources, broader societal norms, cultural expectations, even environmental factors like access to green space on a person's occupational life and overall health across their entire lifespan. Development isn't an isolated journey, it's deeply embedded.
Okay, what else?
Third, concerning performance elements, the core theme is that all elements, physical, cognitive, emotional, social, spiritual, work together inextricably. They are constantly interacting.
Not separate boxes.
Not at all, because of the interactive nature of all human systems. This means that a truly holistic view is absolutely essential to fully understand and effectively address occupational performance challenges. You simply cannot separate the physical ability to hold a pen, for example, from the cognitive ability to plan what you want to write, or the emotional meaning behind communicating that message. They are all interwoven and constantly influencing each other in real time.
That makes sense. It's complex.
It is. And fourth, and perhaps most foundational, is the subjective nature of occupation. This powerfully reaffirms client-centered practice. It emphasizes a deep focus on each client's unique culture, personal preferences, values, and lived experience. It highlights that what is meaningful and purposeful for one person may be entirely different, even irrelevant for another.
So therapy has to be individualized.
Profoundly. This underscores the highly personalized and deeply individual nature of occupational therapy. We don't just tell clients what occupations they should do. We collaboratively explore what truly resonates with their unique life story, their aspirations, their context. That's client-centeredness in action.
Okay, it's one thing to talk about these really important theories and overarching themes, but what about putting all of this theory into action? What are the pragmatic concepts we actually see in today's OT practice? The tangible ways OTs make a difference day to day?
Right, this is truly where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? Translating complex theories into real-world impact. In today's practice, you see OTs employing a whole range of highly practical, evidence-based approaches. For example, motor learning approaches.
Motor learning, like relearning movement.
Exactly. These help clients relearn movements and skills necessary for daily tasks after an injury or illness, focusing on things like practice, feedback, repetition, but always within meaningful contexts, not just abstract exercises. We also see sensory integration techniques, often used with children but also adults, assisting individuals in processing sensory information more effectively. This helps them regulate their responses to the environment, like noise or touch, and participate more successfully in activities like play or learning or work.
Sensory processing is huge. What else?
We also utilize sophisticated cognitive rehabilitation strategies. These target improvements in things like attention, memory, executive functions planning, problem solving, organizing. These skills are crucial for helping clients manage daily routines more effectively after, say, a brain injury or stroke. Social skills development is another area, helping individuals engage more competently and comfortably in social interactions, which is so vital for participation in community life and relationships.
And modifying the environment. OTs do that too.
Yeah. Absolutely. OTs are experts in environmental modifications, adapting homes, workplaces, schools, or community spaces to enhance accessibility and participation. This can range from simple things like recommending grab bars or better lighting to complex smart home systems that allow for greater independence. And the application of assistive technology is crucial, using devices from low-tech adaptive eating utensils or dressing aids to high-tech advanced communication devices or computer access tools, all designed to enable greater independence and valued occupations.
So a really wide toolkit.
A very wide toolkit. And underpinning all of these practical applications are several fundamental principles that guide daily practice, reflecting OT's core beliefs. We recognize that children, for instance, primarily learn through play. It is their main occupation and how they develop crucial physical, cognitive, and social skills.
Play as work for kids.
Essentially, yes. Adults, on the other hand, typically learn most effectively through meaningful tasks, activities that deeply resonate with their life roles, their values, their goals. We firmly believe that context profoundly shapes occupation, meaning the physical environment, the social setting, the cultural norms heavily influence how and why occupations are performed, and therefore how we need to intervene. We understand that participation enables health active engagement in life rather than passivity, promotes well-being, and can even prevent further decline. And critically, occupation has inherent therapeutic power.
The core idea again.
It's not just an activity to pass the time. It's a profound tool for healing, growth, adaptation, and finding meaning. All of this circles back to our enduring core belief. Occupational therapy is founded on the belief that engagement in meaningful occupation promotes health and well-being. It's an incredibly powerful and practical philosophy that drives everything we do.
That brings us nicely to where occupational therapy is practiced today. Given its rich history and diverse theoretical base, where are OTs truly making an impact now, both in those familiar settings we might think of and maybe in some exciting new expanding horizons?
The profession truly operates in an incredibly wide array of environments now, really demonstrating its versatility. Of course, traditional settings that many people are familiar with remain absolutely crucial.
Like hospitals.
Exactly. Acute care hospitals, where OTs help patients regain initial function, prevent secondary complications like pressure sores or contractures, and start planning for discharge right after an acute illness or injury. Then there are rehabilitation centers or units, offering more intensive, longer-term recovery programs, focusing heavily on restoring independence in daily activities. OTs are integral in schools, supporting students with special needs to access their education, develop social skills, manage sensory needs, and participate fully in school life alongside their peers. In mental health facilities, both inpatient and community-based OTs promote engagement in meaningful activities and daily routines to support mental well-being, coping skills, and recovery. And in skilled nursing facilities or long-term care, OTs assist residents with daily living activities, help maintain function as much as possible, and enhance their quality of life through meaningful engagement.
So those are the places many people might already associate with OT.
Correct. But what's truly exciting, reflecting the profession's adaptive nature, are the emerging practice areas. These represent new frontiers for the profession's growth and impact. We're seeing more OTs involved in primary care integration.
Working in a doctor's office.
Exactly. Working directly alongside physicians and nurses to provide holistic, preventive services. Addressing lifestyle-related health concerns, promoting wellness before things become chronic. Imagine an OT in a primary care setting, helping a patient manage chronic pain through activity pacing and energy conservation strategies, or advising on sleep hygiene and stress reduction techniques. It shifts the focus from just treating symptoms to proactively building healthy routines.
That sounds incredibly valuable. What other emerging areas?
There's a strong push into community wellness programs, promoting health and participation for broader populations. Things like developing falls prevention programs for seniors in a community center, or supporting social skills groups for young adults with autism, or creating adapted gardening programs. OTs are also experts in workplace ergonomics, designing work environments and tasks that support safe, productive work, preventing injuries before they happen, and helping people return to work after injury. Driver rehabilitation is another key area, helping individuals with disabilities or age-related changes determine their fitness to drive and return to driving safely, which is often critical for independence and social participation.
Driving is huge for independence.
Absolutely. Telehealth services, as we mentioned, have expanded rapidly, offering remote assessment and intervention via video calls, increasing access to care, especially for people in rural or underserved areas, or those with mobility challenges. And OTs are increasingly involved in health policy and advocacy, working at local, state, and national levels to shape healthcare systems to better recognize and serve the occupational needs of the population.
So moving beyond just individual treatment.
Definitely. And that ties into another major shift towards population-based approaches. This means moving beyond only individual intervention to address community and societal occupational needs.
Like public health for OT.
Kind of, yes. For example, OTs might work on initiatives to address health disparities within a specific community. They might design public health programs promoting physical activity for sedentary populations, develop universally designed accessible playgrounds for children of all abilities, or advocate for public transportation systems that enhance participation for everyone, regardless of ability or age. It's about improving the occupational health and justice of entire groups, not just focusing on one person at a time. It's a really exciting expansion of OT's impact.
All of this, though, from the traditional settings to these really exciting emerging practices, needs to be rigorously supported by evidence. You mentioned EBP earlier. How is occupational therapy actually demonstrating its impact and building that crucial evidence base to prove its value in all these areas?
Building a robust evidence base is absolutely paramount. It's essential for credibility, for securing reimbursement from insurers or health systems, and frankly, for continuously improving our own practice. OT utilizes a diverse range of types of evidence to paint a comprehensive picture.
So not just one kind of research.
No, definitely not. We use quantitative research, which includes things like randomized controlled trials, RCTs, often considered the gold standard for testing if an intervention works. Also, cohort studies that follow groups over time, and systematic reviews which synthesize findings from multiple studies to provide strong evidence on a topic. This gives us measurable outcomes and statistical proof of effectiveness. But that's not the whole story. We also rely heavily on qualitative research.
What does qualitative research tell us?
It helps us deeply understand the lived experiences of our clients, their perspectives, the profound meaning that occupation holds for them. It provides rich insights into the human experience that numbers alone simply cannot capture. Things like interviews, focus groups, observational studies.
So the what and the why.
Exactly. And increasingly, we use mixed methods research, which strategically combines both quantitative and qualitative approaches. This allows us to gain a truly comprehensive understanding of complex interventions, bridging the gap between the numbers and the narratives. And importantly, there's practice-based evidence. This involves gathering real-world outcomes data directly from clinical practice, looking at how clients are actually doing in everyday settings. It demonstrates effectiveness in the real world, not just controlled research environments, and allows OTs on the front lines to contribute directly to the evidence base through their daily work.
It sounds like you need all those pieces to get the full picture.
You really do. This diverse approach ensures we have a full and nuanced understanding of OT's impact, capturing both measurable changes and deeply personal experiences.
And what are the outcomes OT is trying to achieve? What are you measuring?
The key outcome areas that OT interventions aim to achieve are broad, holistic, and directly align with our core vision. These include improved occupational performance in daily tasks, things like dressing, cooking, working, playing, and enhanced quality of life as defined by the client, increased social participation and engagement with others, high client satisfaction with the services they received, demonstrable cost effectiveness for healthcare systems, maybe by reducing hospital readmissions or the need for more intensive care later on, greater functional independence in self-care and productivity, improved overall health and wellness across both physical and mental dimensions, and stronger community integration, allowing individuals to fully participate in their chosen communities.
That's a wide range of impacts.
It is. By measuring these diverse outcomes, we can clearly show the broad and profound impact that occupational therapy has across various dimensions of a person's life and well-being.
Okay, looking ahead now, what's truly on the horizon for occupational therapy? We've seen where it's been, where it is. What are the exciting future directions, but also maybe the challenges that need to be navigated and the incredible opportunities that lie ahead for the profession?
The future of occupational therapy is definitely dynamic. It promises both exciting innovation and, yes, some persistent challenges we need to be ready for. Several emerging trends are powerfully shaping this path forward. Technology integration is huge, and it's rapidly transforming how we deliver care.
Like VR and AI.
Exactly. Think of virtual reality, VR, being used for cognitive rehabilitation, or practicing complex daily tasks like navigating a kitchen or crossing a street in a safe, simulated environment. Artificial intelligence, AI, could potentially help personalize intervention plans based on vast amounts of data, analyze a client's daily activity patterns from wearable tech, or even suggest optimal rest work schedules for managing fatigue. Telehealth services will undoubtedly continue to expand, offering remote assessment and intervention, increasing access for diverse populations. And mobile apps are increasingly used for self-management support, health tracking, and practicing skills between sessions.
Technology is everywhere. What else?
Another major trend is the continued growth of preventive care strategies, focusing increasingly on wellness and health promotion across the lifespan. This is a shift, as we discussed, from merely treating illness to proactively maintaining health and preventing decline. It aligns perfectly with OT's holistic roots. Global practice through international collaborations and knowledge exchange will continue to expand the profession's reach and knowledge base, allowing us to learn from diverse healthcare systems and approaches worldwide. And policy influence is becoming even more critical. OTs need to be at the table shaping healthcare systems to ensure that our unique value is recognized, integrated, and funded appropriately at a systemic level.
Okay, those sound like positive trends, but what about the hurdles? What challenges does OT face?
Oh, there are definitely significant challenges to navigate. We face ongoing complex healthcare system changes, including shifts in payment models, insurance coverage, and service delivery structures that can impact access in practice. There are substantial reimbursement pressures that demand continuous advocacy to ensure OTs are compensated fairly for their vital services, demonstrating that value clearly. There are also ongoing, sometimes healthy, debates around professional identity and scope of practice. We need continuous self-reflection and clear articulation of OT's unique contributions within the broader healthcare team, ensuring we don't duplicate services provided by others while maximizing our distinct expertise in occupation.
So constant vigilance is needed.
It really is. However, these challenges often present significant opportunities as well. The increasing focus on primary care integration, for example, offers a huge chance for OTs to be integral members of frontline healthcare teams, preventing chronic conditions and promoting healthy lifestyles right from the outset. The societal shift towards population health allows OTs to address health at a community and societal level, impacting entire groups rather than just individuals using our unique lens. Greater interprofessional collaboration, working more closely and effectively with doctors, nurses, physical therapists, social workers, psychologists, means fostering truly client-centered, coordinated care, which benefits everyone. And finally, the development of innovative service delivery models, like specialized group interventions, more robust home-based care programs, technology-assisted interventions. Leveraging community partnerships will allow OT to reach more people in more effective, accessible, and meaningful ways. The potential is enormous.
This has been an incredibly thorough and insightful look at where OT has been and where it's powerfully headed. To wrap up our deep dive today, what is our collective professional responsibility? As occupational therapy practitioners, students, educators, what do we need to do moving forward into this exciting and complex future?
It's a profound call to action, really, for every single one of us in the field. It shapes the very trajectory of our profession. First, we must proactively advocate for the profession and for our clients. We need to ensure our unique value, our distinct approach focusing on participation and well-being through occupation, is widely understood and recognized across all settings and by all stakeholders, policymakers, insurers, other professions, the public. We also need to continuously build evidence for our interventions, demonstrating our effectiveness through rigorous research and meticulous practice-based data collection, proving our worth in a data-driven world.
So be vocal and back it up with data.
Exactly. It's also absolutely essential to embrace innovation while fiercely honoring OT's roots. We need to adapt to new technologies, emerging societal needs, novel approaches, but without ever losing sight of our core principles and the absolute centrality of occupation to human health. We must collaborate dynamically across disciplines and settings, recognizing that interprofessional teamwork almost always leads to the most comprehensive and best client outcomes, and it strengthens our collective impact. Above all, we must always focus on occupation as our unique contribution, reminding everyone, including ourselves sometimes, that our distinct value lies in harnessing the therapeutic power of engagement in meaningful activities, shaping lives through purposeful doing.
That unique contribution is key.
It is. And critically, we have an unwavering responsibility to address health disparities and promote justice. We need to actively work to ensure that occupational therapy services are accessible, equitable, culturally relevant, and impactful for all people, populations, and communities, particularly those who have been historically marginalized or underserved.
That's a powerful list of responsibilities.
It is. And a powerful thought from the source material really encapsulates this vital responsibility. The future of occupational therapy depends on our ability to articulate our unique value, demonstrate our effectiveness, and adapt to changing healthcare needs while staying true to our core belief in the power of occupation. It's a continuous journey, demanding both reflection on our past and foresight for our future.
What an incredible journey we've taken today. Seriously. From the foundational principles that guide our work to those visionary founders who dared to dream of a work cure, through the profound paradigm shifts and that detailed decade-by-decade evolution of our profession, we've covered so much ground.
We really have.
Our sources, Chapter 1 of Applied Theories in Occupational Therapy by Cole and Tufano, and that excellent presentation by Jack Rulis, have truly given us a comprehensive and, I think, deeply illuminating view.
Agreed. To maybe recap our extensive journey, let's revisit that framework from the conclusion slide in the presentation. It's a simple yet powerful way to understand our evolution, where we've been, where we are, and where we're going.
Okay, break it down for us.
All right. Where we've been. From those humble yet incredibly visionary beginnings back in 1917, OT navigated various paradigm shifts and absorbed profound historical influences. It grew from just a nascent idea into a truly global profession, serving millions, constantly adapting and evolving its identity to meet changing societal needs.
Then where are we now?
Where we are. Currently, we see evidence-based, truly client-centered practitioners operating in incredibly diverse settings worldwide. We're grounded in robust core principles and possess a renewed, sophisticated appreciation for the complexity and the inherent power of occupation in promoting health and well-being.
And finally, the exciting part. Where are we going?
Where we're going. We're heading towards leading innovative solutions for participation, health, and well-being for all people, populations, and communities. This means continuously adapting to future challenges like technology, healthcare reform, and seizing new opportunities, expanding our reach into dynamic areas like technology integration, population health initiatives, and primary care.
And through it all, it just keeps tying back to that powerful, enduring AOTA centennial vision we started with.
Let's hear it one more time.
Occupational therapy maximizes health, well-being, and quality of life for all people, populations, and communities by providing effective solutions to facilitate participation in everyday living. It really is our past, present, and future, all woven into one single powerful sentence.
Indeed. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Considering how dramatically OT has evolved over its century-plus history, continuously responding to societal needs, scientific advancements, and those moments of internal reflection or crisis. What do you, the listener, think will be the next major crisis point or perhaps paradigm shift that truly redefines our understanding of occupation in the next century? Something to mull over as you reflect on this deep dive and think about your own role, perhaps, in shaping that future.
That is a provocative thought. Excellent point. We hope this deep dive has given you a much clearer picture of occupational therapy's remarkable past, its vibrant present, and its incredibly exciting future. If you found this helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe to the OTD study session.
Thanks so much for joining us on this exploration today.
And join us next time for another deep dive as we continue to explore occupational therapy theories this semester. Bye for now.
Take care, everyone.